What happens when you trust the wrong person in the game? Not just any wrong person, a former correctional officer with a history of playing dirty and disappearing when things get hot. Because that's exactly what Big Meech did, and it might have cost him everything. Right now, 50 Cent is out here living like he won the game twice. Calm, focused, petty. And you know why? Because Rick Ross pulled off one of the nastiest switch-ups the streets have seen in years. Allegedly scamming Big Meech and sparking a betrayal so loud, rumors started flying that Meech might have even put a hit out on him. Yeah, it's that serious. The craziest part? Everybody saw this snake move coming. Everybody except Big Meech. At first it looked like a reunion. Meech fresh out the feds, smiling in photos, dapping up Rick Ross like they were brothers. But this wasn't love. This was a trap disguised as respect, and Meech walked straight into it. The internet's been losing its mind over this whole situation like it's the season finale of the wildest reality show we didn't know we were watching. And honestly, you can't blame them. Because this wasn't just about two industry dudes linking up. This was about betrayal, power, and ego, and in the middle of it all, 50 Cent, the man who held down the BMF name when no one else would. 50 didn't say much at first. He just watched. He saw the pictures, the hugs, the interviews, saw Lil Meech, the very dude he poured millions into, standing silent next to Ross like it was just another business move. But for 50, this wasn't business. It was personal. He built a whole empire around BMF. He gave Lil Meech a platform, a role, and a bag. He didn't do that for clout. He did it out of respect for the legacy. So when Meech chose to stand next to Ross, 50 didn't just take it as betrayal. He took it as war. And then it started. The online shots, the petty jabs, the not-so-subtle shade. 50 began dragging both Meechs without even saying their names, throwing nuclear-level shade while pretending like he didn't even care. But you know how 50 moves. He doesn't throw shade unless it's part of a plan. Because while Ross was busy playing chess, 50 was flipping the board. Now let's talk about Rick Ross, because this ain't the first time he's moved funny, and it probably won't be the last. Word on the street is Ross gassed up Big Meech, whispered in his ear, hyped him up to press 50 for more money, and made him think he was about to take over the game again. Instead, Ross played him like a pawn, fed him promises, gave him smoke, made it look sweet, and then, just as the drama hit peak level, poof, Ross ghosted, gone like he was never in it to begin with. Right around that time, something strange happened. Rick Ross popped up online with a busted shoulder, talking about, "We still getting to the money, we still counting paper." At first, it sounded like your average flex, but fans weren't buying it because the timing was way too perfect. This wasn't just about a shoulder. This was a distraction, a soft little escape route while the fire burned behind him. And it gets deeper, because while people were clowning Ross over the Meech situation, another scandal exploded. Boss token. Yeah, that crypto hustle Ross allegedly backed. The one that vanished overnight, leaving fans empty-handed. No warnings, no refunds, just silence. Online, they started calling him Rug Ross, because he yanked the rug so hard folks still haven't landed yet. And suddenly, it all started to make sense. The crypto, the Meech drama, the shoulder injury, it wasn't chaos. It was strategy. Bad strategy, but strategy nonetheless. Meanwhile, Big Meech, he's out here with nothing. His name used to ring bells. Now it barely makes a sound. The industry's backing away like he's radioactive. No deals, no endorsements, no power. Even those Wingstop franchises that were supposed to be his safety net? Word is Ross quietly sold most of them, kept just enough to keep up appearances, while funneling the rest of the money into his real estate game. Ross secured the bag and left Meech out in the cold. And Lil Meech, man, dude was burning through money like it grew on trees. Designer fits, private jets, and flexing online like he's the second coming of Diddy. But when the smoke cleared, all of it was gone. That whole flashy lifestyle, poof. Now fans are asking real questions, not just about his spending, but about his silence. While his father was getting played and 50 was catching strays, he was just vibing, like none of it mattered. Even Michael Rainey Jr., who plays Tariq on Power, stepped in and said what everyone was thinking. They're grown men. They should have known better. No sympathy, no excuses. And through all of this, 50 Cent stayed in the shadows, watching, waiting, and plotting. Because he knows the game better than anyone. He doesn't just clap back, he burns the entire blueprint. And when he goes to war, he doesn't throw punches. He ends careers. He's already made quiet moves, subtle ones. But if you know 50, you know that's just the beginning. The real storm? It's still coming. But here's where things get even darker. Because Big Meech isn't just dealing with betrayal, he's dealing with fallout. The kind that doesn't go away when the cameras stop rolling. Behind the scenes, industry folks have already labeled him unreliable. Not because he made a bad move, but because he made too many in a row. Trusted the wrong people, alienated the right ones. And now, even people who once respected his legacy are keeping their distance. Like he's radioactive. And who's standing tall through it all? Rick Ross, the same guy who kicked off this entire mess, is now sitting in his mansion, talking about boss moves and shoulder surgeries, while Meech gets dragged through the mud. Some say Ross didn't scam anyone, that Meech just misunderstood the game. But if you've been watching how Ross moves over the years, this ain't new behavior. Let's rewind for a second. This isn't the first time Ross left someone in the dirt. Remember when his own crew got stomped out in Canada? Ross didn't lift a finger. He let his people get dragged and came back talking about how it was a test of their loyalty. A test? That's not leadership. That's manipulation. And it's the same pattern every time. He gets close, makes big promises, gasses people up like he's about to put them on. And then, when the pressure hits, he disappears, leaves the people who trusted him to eat the blame. He did it to his crew. He did it to fans with Boss Token. And now, he did it to Big Meech, possibly the biggest name he's ever finessed. But let's talk about the one man who's been consistent through it all, 50 Cent. Say what you want about 50. He's petty, he's loud, he's ruthless. But one thing you can't say is that he's disloyal. When Big Meech was locked up, 50 kept his name alive. He didn't just mention him, he built BMF, the show, put Meech's own son in the lead role, promoted the story to millions. He gave the Meech family a second life in the spotlight and a shot at generational wealth. So when 50 saw Meech post up with Rick Ross like none of that mattered, that wasn't just disrespect. That was war. And now, 50's not even hiding his smoke. He's throwing darts left and right, blasting Lil Meech on IG, taking shots at Ross every time he drops a new motivational post. And every time someone tries to clap back, 50's already 10 moves ahead, turning it into a viral moment. That's the thing about 50. You don't beat him in public. You either stay out of his way or get steamrolled. And right now, Ross and the Meech family are both getting flattened. Some fans are still holding out hope that this is just a phase, that maybe Ross and Meech are playing some bigger game, that maybe, just maybe, this ends with a reconciliation. But let's be real. That ship sailed when the crypto scam hit the headlines. Because when money disappears, loyalty disappears even faster. And Ross didn't just burn bridges, he torched the whole damn village. Now every brand, every artist, every investor watching this unfold is asking the same thing. Who's next? Because if Ross could do this to Big Meech, someone with history, with legacy, with weight, what's stopping him from doing it to you? And let's not forget, Ross ain't broke. He's rich. He's powerful. He's respected in some circles. But even power has limits. And when your name starts getting attached to the word scammer, you're one headline away from getting blacklisted. In fact, the only reason Ross hasn't faced more public fallout is because the industry knows 50's handling it. And when 50's on your neck, the worst punishment isn't what he says. It's what he doesn't say. You'll see the jokes. You'll see the memes. But what you won't see are the phone calls getting ignored, the meetings that suddenly got canceled, the brand deals that vanish into thin air. 50 Cent doesn't need to take you down in public. He just lets the silence do it for him. And right now, Ross is getting quieter by the week, posting less, flexing less, playing it safe, like he knows the storm is still building and the worst is yet to come. As for Big Meech, he's in limbo, too proud to admit the mistake, too far gone to walk it back, and too surrounded by bad advice to make the next right move. And Lil Meech, he's got a career, for now. But that loyalty line, that's been crossed. And once it's crossed with 50, there's no going back. Because 50 doesn't rebuild burned bridges. He buries them. So here's the real question. Was Rick Ross always the villain? Or did Big Meech just hand him the keys and hope for the best? Was Lil Meech just caught in the middle? Or did he know exactly what was happening and went silent anyway? And what happens next? Because if you think this story's over, you don't know 50 Cent.